Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to begin just this morning by saying, first of all, thank you for being here right now, or if you're watching this as a recording, thank you for taking the time for this lovely practice. My name is Mandy Trapp, and I am many things, but let's start with mother because it feels like that has been probably the most prevalent role in my life in the last 4 months is mother. I have 3 teenage children. One who just graduated from high school the other day, as well as a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. And so when it comes to mental health and mental well-being, I understand exactly, first of all, what it's like to have all of these balls in the air and to try to juggle all of those as well. But for my daughter, my oldest daughter, who's 17 going on 18, and for my husband as well, who's an incredible business owner, entrepreneur in the city, is that I have watched both of them struggle with mental illness pretty much all of their lives that I have known both of them. So I know what super intense anxiety looks like. I know what deep depression looks like. I know what my daughter's really struggled with, obsessive compulsive disorder, which for those of you that don't know is not just about all of the behaviors, but it's also about the thoughts. And I think part of my journey within my career, I started as a personal fitness trainer and an athletic conditioning coach 20 years ago. And very quickly into my career, started to research as much as I could, meditation, mindfulness, psychology, and I have now been also teaching meditation for almost 20 years as well, so for 19 years. I am the founder and the lead educator at Lifestyle Meditation. We opened the very first mainstream meditation studio in all of Canada. We are currently closed due to COVID and kind of looking at how we can get back out there to offer these resources to others. And I've also been teaching yoga and physical yoga practice and asana practice for 19 years as well. So, I mean, there was a lot that all started at once for me. And what I have found is, for me personally, and all of my students and my clients, is that there has never been, there's never been a separation between the way that we move our bodies, right? The way that we train our minds, and I would say even train our emotions, and this kind of outside here, this spiritual view or the spiritual perspective to all of it. For me, it has always been, this big, beautiful, holistic package. And I think that's probably what I have brought to everybody, from, little kids that I've taught in schools to trained with professional hockey players or trained professional hockey players for 15 years as well. And everybody in between, is that we really, really, really need to stop looking at our health and well in these little secular funnels. Like, this is what I do for my physical body. I run, I go to the gym, whatever it is that you do, martial arts, yoga. This is what I do for my mental health, and then this is what I do for my spiritual health. And we need to stop looking at it in that type of a way, because everything is connected, right? You can't show up, in one place. For me, if I'm just going to talk about my role as a mother, is I can't show up as a teacher. I can't show up as, I don't know, whatever else it is that I'm doing in that moment, and just put that role or put that responsibility down, as I bring that with me everywhere that I go. And so if all that you ever did was start to bring more mindfulness and awareness and that higher spiritual perspective to what you're already doing, doesn't mean we have to create this entirely new practice. But if you bring that to what you're already doing, what you will start to recognize is essentially every exercise, every activity that you're taking part in becomes one that is an opportunity for you to be able to tune and to hone your overall sense of well-being. And actually, it was one of my Buddhist teachers years ago that used to say, if doing your dishes is something that you do every single day, is make that your mindfulness practice, make that your spiritual practice. And I thought about that, right? Because I do a lot of dishes. And doing the dishes, am I sitting there, distracted looking at the TV, watching something on YouTube, or am I sitting there like replaying all of the events of my day and increasingly building on all of my stress? Or am I using the opportunity of washing the dishes to also start to slowly scrub and wash my mind and my body? It starts to change everything. And so thank you for listening to that little preamble, because I wanted to share that with you now, because when it comes to yoga, a lot of us, the perspective that we have of yoga is what we're seeing, on Instagram, or what we're seeing, everywhere through social media, or if you go to a yoga class. And it can look extremely inaccessible. It can look difficult. Well, I have to be able to do this posture to get all of the benefits of yoga. When in fact, the word yoga just simply means union. Okay, it means union. In fact, actually, I'll step that back. Yoga means yoking together until we achieve union. So what are we yoking together? What are we blending together? And that's what I was talking about, is it's how do I move my body? How do I start to unwind my mind? How do I awaken this higher perspective? That's really what spiritual practice is how do I climb to the top of the mountain and get the bird's eye view of everything that's happening? So whether you are, just going to stand here and flap your arms for the next 40 minutes or actually follow some of the cueing that I give you, it doesn't really matter, you guys. You can't do this wrong. You cannot do it wrong. The only thing that is most important for you to pay attention to is to really tune in and say, how does this feel for my body? Because if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't feel effective, then we change the position, we change the posture, we do it slightly different. Okay? So yes, I'm going to cue you to do a few different things, but ultimately this is your practice. This isn't my practice. All right? With respect to the practice, though, we're going to follow a very simple pathway. We're going to follow a very simple routine. And the reason that we do this is because you don't all of a sudden get up off the couch and start, squatting 100 pounds on your back. Is that we slowly start to prep and we warm the body up to be able to do that. It's the same thing with the yoga practices. We're working our way towards, deeper stillness and that ultimate union or relaxation. Is that we can't expect the body to just feel good and open and to move the breath through it easily. We cannot expect the mind to come all the way in and to be quiet. So we're going to kind of start by moving the body, and then eventually we'll get to just solely focusing on the breath. And then at the end, I'm going to guide you through a little meditation where chances are you're going to realize that, wait a second, this is actually easier now to do this meditation and do this practice now that I've prepared my body for it. All right. Okay. So now that you know what's going to be happening here, I'm going to invite you to start in what's known as an easy pose. So an easy pose, legs can be crossed. Legs can be kind of extended out like so. Something that feels comfortable for you and that you're not going to tip over. So just move side to side a little bit here and make sure that you're not going to face plant. Because I'm going to invite you to close the eyes. Relaxing through the shoulders, softening through the chest and the belly. Let's close the eyes if you feel safe to do that. And if you don't, it's okay. If closing the eyes is not available to you today, then we just softly lower the eyelids enough that we can find one point out on the floor in front of us to look at. And we call that point our drishti. And drishti is a point of focus. It's also interchangeable with the word mindfulness. So mindfulness is a way of being in the world, but becoming focused on one thing and one thing only. Even if those eyes are closed, we can find that inner focus here. So eyes open and closed, we're going to use that as the breath. So let's start to follow the breath in as we take that nice long deep inhale. And then exhale, follow that breath all the way out. So focus on where the breath comes in. Is it through the nose or through the mouth? Big inhale. And then focus where that breath is choosing to leave the body. So where does the breath want to move? Again, just remember that you cannot get this wrong. Again, inhale. The breath, in fact, big exhale, is a servant to your mind. So the breath and the body, as you continue to breathe here, just recognize that it is constantly eavesdropping on what's happening in the mind. Meaning if the mind is super active and plugged into everything that's happening around you. So the breath, like this beautifully obedient little puppy, is trying to follow everywhere that the mind is going. Meaning sometimes it speeds up very, very quickly. So to an unfocused mind, the breath takes the body into all of these reactions. But as we start to focus that mind in on that single point of focus, whether the eyes are open or closed, it's interesting how quickly that breath rate slowly begins to decrease. And all that you're doing is watching where the breath wants to come into the body, and then where the breath wants to leave the body. So it does not need to be anything that is complicated. You don't need to focus too intently. And then we set the intention for our practice. Now, intention is probably the most important part of your practice. The same way when you leave your home in the morning, we have an intention or a desire as to where we are choosing to end up. And so asking yourself right now, where do I want my practice to take me today? Do I have this desire to feel a little more comfortable in my body, a little more at ease? Do I have a desire to feel a little bit more awake today, a little more energy? Maybe I have a desire for creativity or new ideas to old problems. Setting your intention now, drawing it into your heart. Taking a nice big deep breath in to activate that intention. And then as you exhale, we slowly watch as it leaves. And we always say as it leaves, it's not the intention that is leaving your awareness. It's all of the attachment that you have to forcing or controlling the outcome. You see, this is a practice of learning how to trust all of those laws of nature. Those same ones that as you plant a seed in your garden, help it to grow. Knowing that here you are planting the seed, that this is what I want, this is how I want to feel. And so I'm trusting that that outcome is not entirely up to me. That there are all of these outside forces that are working with me and through me. My only job is to continue to weed the garden, to create the space within my body, to weed the mind by releasing any competing thoughts or lower vibrations, and to awaken that witness or that soul or spirit, whatever your word is, where we get that bird's eye view, and we can begin to see evidence of all of the ways that our intentions are coming to fruition. We're going to do that together today by beginning to move the body. We move the body again in coordination with the breath. Softening through the jaw, inhale, reach the chin up towards the sky. And as you exhale, releasing the chin all the way down towards the chest. Moving with the breath here, inhale, reach up. Exhale, drop the chin. Keep that jaw nice and relaxed, no clenching the teeth. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, drop it down. Last two, inhale, keep the jaw soft, that tongue nice and heavy in the mouth. Exhale to release. Let that weight of your head and the force of gravity start to open space in the back of the neck. And last breath in. Beautiful. All the way down. Let's do 3 big neck circles in each direction. Inhale around. Exhale as it comes back. Inhale. So remembering as we keep moving the body now, let's not let the mind get away from us. So remembering that this is your washing the dishes. The movement is simple and it's easy, and sometimes the more simple and the easier the movement is, the less we have to think about it. And the less we have to think about it, the more the mind wants to wander. Let's go in the other direction. So now it becomes your practice to bring it back. Bringing it back, noticing anywhere within this movement that feels uncomfortable or sticky. Noticing anywhere within this movement that feels really good and nourishing. And just start to pay attention to that. That's it. And inhale, bring that head back up to center. Eyes can stay closed. Inhale, bring the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, big circles as you take them all the way back and down. And we're just going to do 3 here. Inhale. So yes, it's easy. Yes, it is simple. And just because it's easy and simple for the body does not mean that it's easy and simple for the mind. Showing us or revealing to us where the real work is it's not really so much in the body as it is in the mind. Can I start to drag my mind back to this moment? To focusing on exactly what is happening right here, right now. Last one around. So that as things start to get harder, and they will, this is a metaphor for the rest of your life, drop the shoulders, that I can still stay focused. Inhale, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, drop the elbows, keep the palms facing the sun, but bring the elbows all the way down next to the rib cage. Squeeze the spine with the shoulder blades. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, drop the elbows, big breath out. And inhale. Sometimes when things get really easy in our lives, we don't even notice that they're easy. Right? We just go with the flow, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Except that one of the greatest lessons that we've learned from the yogis is that when things feel settled, when things feel comfortable, that's the greatest time where we can really dig in and we can make some serious forward strides for our overall health and well-being. So that again, when that day comes, keep going here. When that day comes, when things feel a little bit harder to hold, a little bit harder to carry, that we have the muscle, that we have the endurance, and that we have the resilience or the flexibility to be able to do it. Last one. Beautiful. As you drop the elbows, take the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers behind your back. And as we interlace those fingers, so sitting up nice and tall, we're going to lift through the chin and through the heart, and then ever so slowly inhale to take the backs of the hands as high off of the body as you possibly can. So inhale to lift and raise, and exhale to slowly release. Stay here for 5. Inhale, so really beginning to get into the heart center. And exhale, that's that center, of course, for love and for compassion. But it all starts with ourselves. Inhale. Why? Because we can't give to others what we don't have for ourselves. We've all heard this. Believe it or not, love and compassion as an act, it's a resource. It's a resource the same way that we have time as a resource, energy as a resource, money as a resource. So if somebody comes and asks to borrow some of your time, you don't have any time to give. Not even for yourself to get done what you need to get done. How able are you to be of service or to give that away? Yet we tempt it all the time. Last one in, lift, raise nice and high. Try to give what we don't have. And release, beautiful. Let's extend those legs all the way out. Working with the back of the heart now. Inhale, reach up towards the sky. As you exhale, very slowly folding forward, drop your chin in towards your chest. Stay here. So one of the greatest things that we can do for ourselves is to connect into self every single morning. And to ask ourselves, what needs replenishing? What needs restoring within me? Is it my energy? Is it my love? Is it my compassion? Is it all of the ways that abundance flows through me? Because we receive that update, or we receive that upgrade in that space between our shoulder blades and the back of the heart. The way that the energy flows and moves through our body, specifically through our heart centers, that we receive through the back and we give through the front. And we must keep this channel nice and open so that every moment we feel full enough to be able to spill over, to give what we need to give to our work, to our relationships. Last breath in. Exhale, soften, drop the chin all the way in towards the chest. Slowly roll the spine up one vertebra at a time. As we come to the top, inhale, reach up. And all together, exhale, drop the elbows, press the heart forward. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach up, extend the arms to the sky. Exhale, drop the elbows, press the heart forward, slowly coming back into harmony now with both giving and receiving. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. So if it feels too fast, inhale, come up. It's because we're breathing too quickly. Exhale, drop the elbows. So if we're looking for more flow, we need to slow the breath down. Inhale, reach up. Remember, how do we slow the breath down? Exhale, fold forward. We slow the mind down. We bring all of the focus from the outside world inside. Inhale, two more, reach all the way up. Even slower. Exhale, drop the elbows, press the heart forward. So it all starts with you. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, even slower, fold forward. And lastly, inhale, reach up. Exhale, drop the elbows, press that heart forward. Inhale, reach all the way up. And exhale, reach forward, but try to extend just an inch farther than you did before. So really opening yourself up to receiving everything that you need to fill your cup back up here today. Drop that chin in towards the chest, rolling that spine up nice and slowly, one vertebra at a time. Keep those eyes closed, bring the hands onto the ground next to you, and begin to shake those knees. Okay, just a couple of more seated postures here as we move down through the body. Again, yoking together or bringing into harmony both that energy of receiving and of giving. So let's very slowly, if your eyes are closed, open just for a moment. With the left hand, or I'm sorry, with the left foot, we're going to create a cradle with our hands and bring it around that foot. Sitting up nice and tall here, so your right leg can be extended, or if you want to bend it in, you can bend it in, whatever feels the best for you. So today in our practice, working with the heart center, right, giving and receiving of all of that heart-based energy and love. And then the last sequence here is we're going to move into the solar plexus and down into the sacrum area. Why? Because this is our gut instinct. This is our power. Okay, so refueling that power source, but also, right, our ability to be able to nourish and to care for ourselves while also digesting what's going on in the world. So sitting up nice and tall, squeezing those shoulder blades together. As you inhale, extending that leg out. Now your hamstrings might be tight. So you might have to let go with that other arm, extend it out, and we inhale, pull it in. So again, doing whatever feels most comfortable for you, slowly pulling it in. As we have this action or this motion, let's close the eyes. I'm just going to call this washing the dishes. So we close the eyes, we start to realize that this may be a little bit harder, a little bit more challenging. Where does the mind want to go? Can we stay present with how every inch of this posture or this movement feels in our bodies? That's it. Can we continue to coordinate the breath? And how does the breath want to move? Inhale to pull it in, and we exhale to let it go. Lubricating the hip joint, right? Starting to open up through the backs of the hamstrings. Finding the extension through the calf all the way down into the feet. That's it, nice and slow. So the body is going to follow the breath. And the breath is going to find your mind. It's going to follow the mind. And so if you have mind all over the place, what's happening in the body? Can we be intentional? Can we feel powerful? And can we ensure that we are nourishing every single cell in the body with this movement? That's it. Last 3 as we inhale and exhale nice and deep. And 2. Beautiful job, you guys. Last one. And as we inhale to pull it in, let's take that left foot and just bring it into the inside crook of the right elbow. And again, if this is not available to you, you can just hold on to the foot, okay? Really what we're looking for here is to find some softening to the hip right now. Okay, so if we can bring it all the way around, we're gonna cradle it like a baby, okay? Or we're just gonna hold knee and foot. And very slowly, let's just wiggle that from side to side. That's it, you got it. Let's close the eyes again, deepen the breath here. So starting to find some gentle rocking movement all the way down through the sit bones, into the hips. Beginning to soothe the nervous system into this posture. Now, isn't it interesting that it's within every one of us, it's our instinct to grab or to pick up a crying baby or a child and to gently rock them. Sometimes we even bring the breath into it, and it sounds a little like this. Give that a try right now. We inhale through the nose. Yeah, that's it. Let's do it a few more times. Knowing that what's happening as we do this here is that we're starting to activate the division of the nervous system that brings us into those deeper states of rest, relaxation, and digestion. We call it our rest and digest. Right, so soothing the nervous system here. As we start to soothe the nervous system through that breath, notice what happens in the body. Last breath in. And slowly come to stillness here. Keep holding on to that foot and that leg. Now, if your right leg isn't extended, I'm just going to invite you to extend it and then plant the left foot on the other side of the leg. So as we soothe the nervous system and quiet the body, we can actually access deeper postures or deeper positions, I should say, within the body. Extend the right arm all the way nice and high up towards the sky. And as you exhale, just take it across that front knee. Okay, left hand can go on the ground behind you. And just slowly twist. Now, if it's available to you, just take that right hand, either bring it onto your heart or bring it onto the left shoulder. And for 3 breaths here, we're going to try exactly the same thing. Very gentle, subtle movements in the hips. Inhale through the nose. Little shushes here. That's it. 2 more in. Last one in. Reach the crown to the sky. Inhale all the way back to center. Keep that foot crossed. Inhale, reach up to the sky. And as you exhale, slowly lower both arms at the same time. Let's extend the left leg out. Bring the right foot in. Create that cradle with the hands. Softening through the shoulders. Eyes can be closed or open. If they're open, remember we find that focal point of that drishti. We're going to reverse the breath this time. This time as we inhale, we're going to extend. And as we exhale, very slowly bringing that foot in towards the belly, primarily into the center of the solar plexus. Inhale, extend. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale to extend. Exhale. So draw the mind back in from wherever it is choosing to wander in this moment. And just start to pay attention to how your body feels as we move it here. So releasing any of the judgment. It feels good, it feels bad. Just notice what feels comfortable, what feels uncomfortable. Can I begin to tune into the discomfort and sit with it? Let's get a few more questions here. Is it uncomfortable because I'm holding some tension in this area? Is it uncomfortable because perhaps I'm moving past those little pain receptors that are telling you this is not a safe position, so perhaps I should change the position or back off just a little. The more mindfully that we move through our lives, the easier it is for us to recognize the difference between discomfort and pain. Pain is our body's way of keeping us safe. But discomfort is where we are constantly invited to move into in order to grow and to evolve. So it's a very fine line between both. And if we're not sitting in that seat of mindfulness, that seat of awareness, last 2, keep going. And it can be very difficult to recognize. Last 1. So typically what ends up happening, bring it in and let's gently start to either cradle that entire leg or hold the foot and the knee and just rocking side to side. Nice big deep breaths. So what happens when we lump discomfort and pain together is that we attempt to avoid all of it. And in fact, every single negative habit, dependency, addiction that we engage in, we do it to avoid pain and discomfort. So just think about that for a moment for yourself. As we really begin to cradle this leg into that gentle shushing breath, inhale through the nose. Where in my life have I avoided pain and discomfort? What habits or behaviors have I created and consistently exercised as a way of avoiding pain and discomfort? Knowing that we're not here to beat ourselves up for any of that. In fact, we're just simply here to become aware. We're here to become aware of it, to love it, to nurture it. One more breath in. That's it. And exhale, slowly crossing that foot all the way over. Inhale, reach left hand all the way to the sky. Exhale, drop left elbow to the outside of that right knee. Bring the right hand behind you. Left hand can go under the heart of the shoulder. Continuing to breathe nice and deep. This is one of the reasons why the physical practice of yoga is so transformative. It's because it puts us past the range of comfort in it. I wanted to say gracefully, sometimes not so gracefully, moves us into those spaces of discomfort, causing us to really look at where we are constantly making macro movements or micro movements in our lives to avoid feeling uncomfortable. Last 2 breaths in. Use that shushing breath. Inhale, reach both of the hands up towards the sky. And exhale, release. Let's extend the right leg out to meet the left. Give them a little bit of a shake here. And last one, seated. Let's bring the soles of the feet together into butterfly pose or butterfly posture. Okay, so this is kind of the last little, not just posture, but the last area within all of our hip sockets here that we're going to work on. So you can interlace the fingers. We can take them around the feet, or you can take we call these our peace fingers around the big toes. Roll the shoulders down and back and just gently start to create some movement in those knees. Again, I'm going to invite you to close the eyes or find that drishti right now. That's it. And so really coming back into the self and into this inner inquiry or contemplation around just how important it is for our mental health and well-being, our spiritual health and well-being. Sorry about that. Our spiritual health and well-being, our happiness and our joy and our sense of fulfillment will always be attached to if we're feeling that we are evolving or progressing in our lives. And if you do not feel that you are evolving or progressing in your life, then we start to feel stuck. And as we start to feel stuck, we begin to feel anxious. We feel worried, we feel concerned. We start to look for ways outside of ourselves to find that joy or to find that happiness. Last breath in here. Exhale very slowly, bringing those to stillness. Here we go. Just allowing the flood of life force or prana to move through the body now as we keep the soles of those feet together. Knowing that all of your joy and your sense of well-being is attached to your progress. It's attached to all of the ways that we can continue to make those strides forward within our lives. Inhale very slowly, bring those knees together. And then exhale, gently rolling that spine all the way down. So coming fully and completely onto your back. Stretch the legs out, stretch the arms all the way above the head. And so the perfect metaphor for our growth and for our evolution is our own ability to stretch ourselves. So knowing that you have it within you, all of these mechanisms that allow you to adjust again and again to change. Inhale, reach even higher with those arms. And as you exhale, let's tuck the knees in towards the chest, come into a great big ball here. Chin down towards the chest, knees stay in. Release the back of the head down towards the ground, extend the feet up towards the sky, flex those feet. Start to feel the backs of the legs begin to activate here. Relax through the feet, tuck the knees in towards the chest. Inhale, slowly chin up towards the chest, come into a ball again. And last time, release the back of the head down towards the ground, extend the feet up towards the sky. Flex the feet, point the heels up towards the sky. So just taking a moment to recalibrate ourselves now that we've changed our relationship with the earth. Inhale, knees back in towards the chest. And this is true of all of life, my friends. Is that we are often, we're requested or we're asked to change position again and again and again, and we don't give ourselves any time for recalibration. Now let's take the knees slightly off of the chest so they're at a 90-degree angle here. We're going to do a little bit of work on engaging the core. Lifting the left knee, we're going to cross it over top of the right, and if possible, hook it around behind the ankle. So for those of you who are familiar with yoga, we usually do this posture standing. We call it eagle pose. We're going to find a different way to do eagle pose today, an entirely new perspective once again. Extend the arms up towards the sky. You're going to drop the right arm underneath the left. We're going to try to find our palms together here. So far, so good, but flex those feet. We're going to activate the abdominals now. And appreciate all of these beautiful little distractions this morning. As we inhale, lift the back body up off the ground, shin is in. Stay here as we exhale to squeeze the elbows and the knees together. Now keeping the head elevated, inhale, press the legs away from the body and lift and extend the arms above the head. So we're stretching ourselves, but in a very twisted way. Exhale, squeeze everything and bring it together. Again, inhale, lift and extend. Open the body, feel those abdominals engage. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale, stretch yourself here. Exhale. So starting to find those edges of discomfort as we inhale and extend. And exhale. Moving into the discomfort for 5. Exhale, squeeze it in. 4. Last 3. Keep going. Notice your mind, how it's saying, nobody's watching me here right now. So I can stop, I can cheat. But none of that. Let's see what you're capable of. And last one, big extension. Exhale, squeeze it all in, hold it right up here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, unwind, extend those legs all the way out, arms up above the head. And exhale, stay right here. So hold that there just for a few nice long deep breaths in and out. So notice as the eyes are closed, we were just in this posture not even a minute or so ago. It's already starting to feel different. Okay, we've been extended, but what starts to feel different? Just pay attention. Last breath in. And as we exhale, slowly coming back into that ball, tuck the chin in towards the chest. Inhale, lift the legs all the way up towards the sky. Flex the feet, drop the head back onto the ground. One more time, inhale, come all the way up into a ball, bring the chin in towards the chest. Exhale, long legs, extend them up, flex the heels. And very slowly inhale, come back up into that ball. Release your grip slightly. Okay, chin can stay tucked down in towards the chest, this time lifting right leg
or the left. Let's do that great big cross around, arms up towards the sky. Drop the left arm underneath the right. See if we can find those palms, or at least with the thumb. Lifting even higher as we can. We move on the inhale. Inhale, open and extend. Exhale, squeeze and draw it in. Inhale, open and extend. Exhale. So really, every time we exhale, keep going. Use that breath to really squeeze and release any of those byproducts of stress that we're holding on to in the body. Last 3, inhale, lots of excess adrenaline, cortisol. That's it, 2 more in. Great job, you guys. Last one, inhale, push it even further yet. And exhale, big, powerful squeeze as we draw it all in. Hold it there, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2. It's gonna feel so good. And 1. Eyes stay closed, extend the whole body. Arms reach up above the head, legs reach out. Good job. Take 1 more big deep inhale here. Exhale, bring the knees in towards the chest, tuck yourself into a ball. Bring that chin all the way up and then just slowly starting to rock forward and back. So keep that spine nice and straight. And lower that upper body down, knees can stay tucked in. Last posture here, flex through the feet, extend them up towards the sky, but keep the knees bent. Keep the knees bent so that as the thighs rest on top of the belly, we can hold on to either the outside of the shins, or if you can reach all the way to the outside of the feet, you can reach up towards the feet. As you inhale, very slowly opening the legs up, keep those knees bent, directed back towards our armpits. It's called happy baby pose, happy baby. So we did some work, some seated work getting into the hips. Okay, we're also working with the belly and all the way up into the heart today. So we want to keep that front body nice and open and create a little bit more gentle rocking and movement here. So as we roll around that lower spine from side to side, this is our final 4 breaths or so. If you're a yogi, you can come to that ujjayi breath if you know what ujjayi breath is. And if not, we can come back to that gentle little shushing ocean breath that we were doing earlier. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling. That's it. Last 3 here, just washing the dishes. Bringing the mind in. Nice, easy, gentle posture. Well, maybe for some of us. Some days I find this to be quite challenging, actually, depending on how sticky and tight my hips might be. That's it. Keep rocking that body, moving with the breath. Bringing ourselves into that happy baby posture. There was a time in your life, maybe you can recall it, maybe not, where we weren't quite so concerned with what was happening in the world, where the majority of our focus was inward, and it was moment by moment, are my needs being met or not? This moment of pure curiosity. Knowing that even in those moments or in those days, at the end of the day, last breath in, we had a much easier time of letting things go. Big breath out. Very slowly releasing your legs down towards the ground. Finding that comfortable resting space or position on your back, on a Shavasana. We
can turn the palms up on the floor beside us, or we can just bring them on top of the belly, or one on the belly and one on the heart. Just check in, notice where it is that you want to put your body. So it's funny that all of us are born connected to curiosity, connected to potentiality, and very deeply connected to the present moment. That is the nature of who you are. It's the nature of who I am. And yet it's not always the experience that we're having. Because over the course of our lives, we have several experiences that accumulate all sorts of programming in the body and the mind, which keeps us separate, keeps us plugged in, reactive, always looking for the next threat to our comfort and our well-being. And any time we become mildly uncomfortable, reverting back to old behaviors and old patterns in an attempt to avoid that discomfort. As children, we were willing to be uncomfortable because we knew that life was about learning and growing and evolving. And so as we come into our little meditation here now, we step back in to that child within each one of us, the one that prides itself on its curiosity, the one that has the courage and the confidence to try new things, to stretch past our limits. Because we know that great joy and great freedom is only possible when we take a step out of the old, out of all of those ways that we feel stuck. One of the greatest ways to embrace our own inner child is to tune back into the breath. Why? Because the breath reminds us of this cycle of life. It reminds us that it's critical to learn how to let go. And that on some level, we are always receiving the new. So that next breath that you take in, as you watch it come in, you've never taken that breath before. That breath is entirely different. It's entirely different than every breath that you've ever taken. And it moves into the body, goes where it needs to go, it does what it needs to do. And when it's done, it knows that it needs to leave. And so as we settle the mind and we tune in to that natural breath, we realize just how wise it really is. That though it may act as a servant to the mind, as this unconscious puppy that is chasing around our active mind, we realize that that silent and natural breath is in fact our greatest, most wisest teacher. How often do we look to those with the greatest amount of education or who hold the highest positions within society? We look to them for guidance and to tell us what we need to be doing. When perhaps it's time to just sit with a child. To ask them, how is it that you see the world that could be extremely beneficial to me? Why? Because they have no fear. They have no karma. They don't have all of these learned behaviors and judgments and prejudices. They're just love. They're just compassion. They are raw instinct and moving with their instincts and from their instincts. We all have that within ourselves. And so whatever it is that is consuming your mind these days, your discomforts, your pains, your worries, your fears, can you visualize taking them to your own inner child and asking for advice? With that heart nice and open, feeling safe and comfortable through the hips and through the body and grounded back down in towards the earth, anchored and ready to listen. What is the advice that your own inner child wishes to share with you in this moment? Trusting any and every message that is shared with you right now. Bringing it into your heart and activating the breath around your heart center as you feel those lungs just gently massaging that heart. And closing our practice today by asking ourselves right within that heart, what is it that I feel grateful for? What is it that I feel grateful for? Knowing that whatever it is that you're turning your gratitude towards in this moment, be it a person, a thing, an experience, at some point in time in your life that was merely a wish, a desire, or an intention that you set. And through that intention and the grace of nature or spirit or God or whatever your word is, it manifested. Proof and evidence to us that as we continue to plant those seeds in the garden and we do the work to create the space, is that when the timing is right, they too will come to fruition. And that it's safe to let go. So feeling that in the center of the heart, let's slowly start to deepen the breath into the body. Breathing into the chest, down into the hips, and all the way down through the legs and into your feet. You can slowly start to move your toes and your feet. Just as you can slowly start to create movement in your hands and in your fingers. When it feels good and right for you, you can inhale to reach above the head. Big stretch and exhale. Let's bend those knees so the feet are flat on the ground if they're not already. And then just let those knees flop over towards the right side, finding yourself inside sleeping pose.